intensifies.
And we're live. Hey, everybody. I'm Gary Palmer Jr. hanging out with Bama.eth, special guest Brantly.eth, learning about Web3, Web3 class, Web3 domains, a bunch of Grails.App, and catching up on Web3 and Web3 domains and a lot of happenings. There's a lot happening in the space right now in terms of AI. And a lot of people aren't talking about it, but there's a huge overlap between what's happening with AI and what's happening with Web3 and what's happening with ENS. But a lot of people aren't aware of any of these areas very deeply. Most people are not aware of any of these areas very deeply, and most people aren't aware how AI and Web3 are overlapping. There's too many people inside Web3 who don't have awareness how decentralized domain names overlaps with Web3, right? Let alone how decentralized domain names overlap with AI. And we have to have decentralized Rails. We got to have decentralized technology. We got to have decentralized Linux. But now we need decentralized blockchain. And we can't have a decentralized blockchain world with long 0x addresses. We got to have some human readability, some immutable human readability, not just for the humans, but for the AI. And one of the organizations that's building this for the AIs, I think they started with the humans. Humans were just the bootloading for the AI. But one of those companies is the Ethereum Identity Kit. And the Ethereum Identity Foundation.
Well, no, we just, we call ourselves these days just ETHID. That's
it. ETHID.
And Ethereum Identity Kit is one of the products that we make among many other ones. We call ourselves ETHID, and our website is ethid.org.
Excellent. I don't know where I got the foundation. I thought it was the Ethereum Identity Foundation.
We've had different names in the past. Yeah. Okay, that's the past. You're behind.
Things move really quick. Things move really okay. Well, ETHID, one of those organizations building human readability, decentralized human readability for humans and for AI, is ETHID, and Brantly is the founder, one of the founders. Not sure how that works.
Yeah,
you've been around for a while.
The founder.
You've done some things with ENS. You've done some things with signing with Ethereum. You've done some things with what else? It's the Ethereum Follow protocol.
Yeah. And the ENS Market Bot.
The ENS Market, but yeah, I mean, if we really can't list everything you've done, can we? The ENS Market Bot, Grails.App, the ETHID MCP server, that's a big one. A lot of people, everyone playing with AI, they should immediately say, hey, go check out the ETHID.
Yes, ethidkit.com has everything you need to build with the Ethereum Identity Kit. Build with the Ethereum Identity Stack is all in the Ethereum Identity Kit.
Hey, side note, not to talk business with everyone else in the world, but are you familiar with ethskills.com? That's question number one. And then question number two is how long until I recommend you try to get listed on ethskills.com ASAP.
Or did you show this to me? I don't know. It sounds ETHskills.
ETHskills.com. Yeah, that's something that who is it? Griffith?
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. Yes, I have seen this. Yes.
He just promoting it very, very, very hard at ETH Denver. And this is the go-to. This is sort of the go-to kit for that he's pushing for AI bots and whatnot. And there might be some overlap, but I think there's some things that ethskills.com is missing and that ETHID has. So I think there's a good opportunity for linkage over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Brantly. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Brantly, did you ever anticipate?
Put your mic closer. You got a mic or no?
Yeah. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
All right. Did you ever anticipate when you started building all of this that you would be building the Rails for AI? Because I know on my behalf, I was when I got into the space, I was early in comparison, but I wasn't early to people like Gary and whatnot, right? And so I started researching like emerging industries, and it was like in 21 or 22. And so I picked up a lot of AI related names, and it predicted AI to be here like 26 to 27, something like that. But we can all agree that it was here like way ahead of time, you know? So I was like trying to think of industries, and man, I never in a million years getting into all this thought that it would be AI agents using ENS domain. You know what I mean? Just using this whole infrastructure. It's crazy. It caught me off guard. Did you kind of see that coming, like with all of this?
Well, the idea that AI and I would just say more broadly that uh, agents or machines or devices or basically that non-human digital actors would want to use crypto, that has been discussed for years. Now, previously, that was discussed more in the context of, there was a narrative in the past of Internet of Things, IoT, right? That your toaster is going to be holding Bitcoin, your refrigerator is going to be buying things, with tokens. Your car is going to be paying other cars. That's how people talked. Maybe that'll happen, by the way, but that was a narrative, like 10 years ago. And so crypto was talked about a lot in that sense. And yeah, people talked about AI too, but of course, the big breakthrough in AI was November 2022 when ChatGPT was released. And did I see that coming? No, I did not. But it is radically changing the world very, very fast. And do I think AI and crypto are kind of complementary technologies? Absolutely. I mean, that's clear. Because AI agents need to be able to do payments and hold assets and things like this. Well, crypto is all digitally native, so that works well for that. But I would say, so did anybody see that coming? No. But more broadly, the idea that non-human digital entities would want to do things on the internet, and then that they would use crypto to do that, that had been understood and discussed for many years.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how fast things are evolving. And then, like, just the Super Bowl a few weeks ago, like AI.com releasing, what is that? Did we get rugged on that? I got me a handle, and it still says it's like loading or something. But it's interesting how everybody's gonna have like individual agents in the near future. It's crazy to see how fast this advances and evolves,
Yes.
like in the directions it goes.
And it's exciting. I'll say this, there's a lot of concern about the future, and I get that. I mean, like, do I know how everything's going to play out? No, I don't. Will there be negative things? Will there be problems? Yes. So like, we already know there's going to be problems. But, and should we try to mitigate those problems? Of course. I would also say though, that I am a big believer in like courage. And I think pure doomerism is like a vice. I think it's a vice of, I don't know, it's like of cowardice maybe or so. I don't know. I mean, like that might sound extreme, but I think there's a moral component to it. I think of just pure doomerism is wrong. And I don't believe in safetyism. I believe in bravely staking out and building the new world. And yes, there will be problems. Yes, we should try to mitigate this in some degree, but I'm not, my goal is not that we don't have any problems. The goal is we build an incredible future.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And it's crazy. And you can see that. Like, I can see that in the space early on, like you and some of the others. And I was thinking about this for the space started, and then I'll let Gary, you can take back over and we can go into Grails. But I was thinking about, it's crazy how Web3, let's just say Web3 domains, like decentralized domain names, how fast that infrastructure has been built out and categorized and stuff, as opposed to like DNS. You know what I mean? Like some of these DNS marketplace, it's just, and I just look at the builders. It's like the builders are in like, kind of like you said, like, let's just build and we'll course correct as we go, but we got to keep going. You know what I mean? That's crazy watching it like from the outside, from someone that's not a builder. You know what I mean? So much that's just like a supporter and a user of this tech. But yeah, it's interesting to see everything playing out, man, in the directions that it's going. Like, even as I'm sure we'll talk about tonight, some of these new categories that y'all launched, man. It seems like every day it's sensory overload with updates, trying to just stay up. So I know the guys on the team are 90 to nothing. You know what I mean? Because us as the end users are like, wow, this is fast. This is happening quick. So it's awesome to see everything coming together.
Yeah, we have a great team. Throw is our backend guy. He's great. Jan or encrypteddegen.eth, he's our front end guy. Great. Caveman.eth. does a lot of great work for us. And we actually we're kind of expanding our team right now. I don't want to get too deep into that, but and small expanding our team a little bit. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll actually, you know what? I'll just say it here. I think maybe I'll announce it on Twitter tomorrow or something on this. But for those who are listening, you're gonna get a little bit of alpha. We just hired a new guy, Jalil.eth, who, if you've been in the NFT space the last couple of years, he was the genius behind Opepin and the Checkmarks, two very successful NFT projects during the bear market. He's a great developer and artist, deep into crypto, long-standing crypto guy, full stack developer. Very happy to have him on the team. He literally is joining this week. Like, yet, hasn't really done much yet. But
who is this?
Jalil, Jalil.eth. And if you've seen his work on Twitter because he's been very successful the last couple of years. So like Opepin, do you know what I'm talking about, guys?
Yeah, he created that.
Yes, with him and Jack Butcher.
Man, that's crazy.
They're like partners in crime. They've been working together for many years. Yeah, Jalil's a good guy. He actually said that he was kind of a developer and artist prior to getting into crypto, and he said the first thing he got into crypto with was ENS. I think that's true for a lot of people. I think particularly in 2021, there was a lot of people who came into crypto for the first time, and who came into crypto for the first time through ENS. Something he said, and I think this has been true for a lot of people, so ENS is very approachable because it's for everybody. Like anybody can get a name. We're not going to run out of names. Let's say like the apes or CryptoPunks. There's a limited part of the part of the appeal there is that it's very exclusive, and that's cool for that. ENS is different. ENS is very unique in that each name is its own exclusive club to some degree, but anybody can get one, right? So like anybody can get a name, and you get your unique name, and that's a one of one. I guess that's maybe better of what I'm trying to say. Like every name is a one of one, and it's useful to you right away.
Man, that's awesome. This, coming from the NFT space, I don't know. What's crazy is I only traded like very minimal NFT projects that were actually ENS related, which I picked up at 8, but that was, I really didn't mess in NFTs, but I got ENS immediately when I came in. Like I was like, this makes total sense. So yeah, I can agree with that, man. It's a huge army of people, man. There's a bunch of people. It's funny you say that everybody gets ENS. When I was in Vietnam, I had an ENS shirt on, and listen, everybody kept coming up to me at this conference like, "Do you work at ENS?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm actually head of operation." No, I'm just kidding. But there was
like I'm the investor that's paying for all of it.
Yeah. It was funny. So it's known. Like even in Vietnam, man, this conference I was at with Kimmy. Man, there were so many people come up that were just ENS users. You know what I mean? It's crazy to see it like from a global aspect, like all over the world.
Absolutely. It's easy to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, we have a great team, and I'd say in our team, everyone is great at what they do. And we also very intentionally have set a culture of moving fast. And so there are like two types of work that we do. One type of work is super high stakes work where if you screw it up, bad things happen. This would be like smart contract stuff. For that, we go really, really slow and carefully, and we triple check, quadruple check, give it time, sleep on it for a week or two, take our time with it. Okay. A lot of else than what we build, like, we're launching a new category, we're adding a new filter or sort of things like this. It's low stakes. If there ends up being some edge case bug in it, not a big deal. We can fix it. For anything like that, we're totally full steam ahead, move fast, break things. Oh, it looks good, ship it. We'll clean up some of the bugs later, but like fast, deliver value. We ship basically every day. I don't believe in this thing of like, hold off and, do one big ship thing every month or so. No, we have a new feature, ship it. New feature, ship it. And I think it's great for users because users, as soon as we have something, they get to start using it, benefiting from it. We also get a lot of feedback. People like, I really like that. Okay, great. Let's lean into that. Or no, we don't like that, or we don't understand that, or it's not working. Okay, great. We'll fix it, or we'll change it, or or something like this. And so I'll say we're very grateful. We've gotten so much extremely valuable feedback from the two of you and from many other people. We appreciate it, and we read everything. We instantly respond. I mean, you have to understand, like, we take it very seriously. It's like, oh, there's a problem. I send it right to the relevant developer. And, often it's like, sorry, can we stop whatever you're doing? Can we fix this thing right now? Oh, or do that, boom, done. Half an hour later, back to the person, it's fixed. Can you check, double check? Like, oh, it's fixed, great. And that's for like bugs, and then for features too. Again, we want to know what people want, and I got to give credit here to Gary Palmer Jr. Gary, we might be the people building, but Gary is the mastermind on the great feature ideas. Of course, I'm talking about Google metrics. People love it. Wow, that's like kind of almost going viral on Twitter now. That was entirely Gary's idea.
It's been my idea for 5 to 7 years. It's not a new idea, but you're the only, and you're not. I mean, everyone knows about this idea, right? It's sort of like, ideas are free, right? Like yeah, it's hard to get good ideas, and you got to like find good ideas from bad ideas, but there's so many good ideas out there, and they're free. But the people who take the ideas and execute on those ideas, those are the people that are really changing the world. So, there's a little bit of, pride or, like appreciation that I have that I'm able to be part of the chaos and the quantum randomness that is our world. And
one of our developers said, Gary, I sent to our group chat of our team, I'm going to be on this thing with Bama and Gary. And one of our devs said, I will be listening with a pen and paper ready to get our marching orders from Gary. All right. What is the next thing to do? And I'll say this too. Now I think
you have such a good team, Brantly.
Well, thank you.
And like the fact that you guys know when to hold them and know when to fold them in terms of the project management of what's important. You know how to prioritize. You know how to separate what's mission critical from what's fun. You're able to ship. You're able to follow through. You're able to trickle features out, but you're able to you have this great capability that you set up of not just releasing code, but of receiving feedback. And so the trickling in of feedback, like you guys aren't just listening and producing great work, but you're listening to feedback and you're modifying based on that feedback. And not only are people happy that they're getting their needs met because their feedback is being, not just heard, but implemented. But I think there's this underlying sense that the pulse of your team is very strong. You're not just out there and, there's something that got shipped once a month. You guys are really here. You're really present. You're really active. You're not just, you're not Web 1 communicating out. And you're barely, you're also not Web 2, like just having a dialogue and doing nothing. You guys are a part of the storyline that is Ethereum and Web3 every day. And you guys, not only that, but you guys make other people feel seen and heard, I think, because of, your ability to have good support, your ability to have good customer service. And I that's something that doesn't get seen unless you're working in business. And it's amazing. I think more Ethereum companies need to follow through, because I think a lot of Web3 companies produce a lot of great code. But more often than not, is what I'm trying to say, is that there's not like this two-way dialogue. I don't know if you see that as well, or maybe you're just like in it. But I just want you to recognize what's your feedback on that.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I mean, I'll say we've decided to try to be extremely responsive to users. Now that might sound obvious, but you have to understand that that takes work, that's effort. I mean, one we have to do the work of taking the time and things like this, of talking to a lot of people. Now, I think of it as it's extremely valuable, so I'm happy to do it, and all of our team members do it. But that takes a lot of work, and then we try to be very responsive. I can understand how a person could be like, no, I have my own ideas. I don't want to hear feedback. I'm just gonna do my thing, and they just kind of build their perfect castle, for themselves, but it can take it can take some humility to be like, I want to hear all the negative problems. I want to hear all the bugs. I want to hear all the negative feedback. But we've said that as a culture in our team of like, we value that. So I'll even share something that I tell our team. I've said this from the beginning. It's going to sound harsh, but I think it's actually crucial to how we function. Is I tell them all of our work. I say it all sucks. Everything sucks. Everything we've ever done sucks. And okay, now that we have that out of the way, our mentality is, how do we improve it? And it's never done. It's never perfect. I never want to hear anybody defending it as though don't be defensive. Like we already know for a fact, everything we've ever done can massively improve. We already know. So I never want to hear anybody be like, no, it's perfect or doesn't need to improve or can't improve. No, wrong. Like, you're going to get off the team if you have that mental. Great, you shouldn't be here then, because what we want to be way, way better than we are now. We want to look back and be like, wow, everything really sucked in the past. Yeah, it did suck, but we want to get better over time. So we have a culture of that, of like no defensive. I tell people like, yeah, don't be defensive about anything. We're going to work it out. It also means we also try to avoid as much as possible sunk cost fallacy. So maybe we try something and we decide, actually, it's not very good. All right, well, we need to throw it away, do something else. That's okay, but we're learning.
That's part of that move fast mentality that you guys have. Just
yes,
and knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. Right, you got to know when to hold them because it's a mission critical feature. And you also got to know when to hold them or fold them because it's not right, and yet sometimes it's not right at all, or it's not right now, or it's not right because of an aspect of it. And it's not about moving fast and breaking things. It's about moving fast and what? What would you say?
Getting information. It's when you move fast. What a lot of people don't understand is when you move fast, you're getting information fast because you throw something out, you get feedback. Or even this. It's
information is more than breaking things.
Exactly. It's really that. It's get information and feedback so you can iterate fast. And it's even from other users, but it's even from ourselves. Like, I don't really know how the app should work until we make it. And then I personally use it. And then very quickly you run into all the problems. You're like, wait, gosh, this is annoying. I find myself doing this or that. Okay, great. Let's iterate fast,
Y'all are like a customer service LLM from when you started. If you think about it, remember when y'all started, y'all just threw this out here, and then it's crazy watching the evolution of this to where it's at now. You know what I mean? That y'all acknowledge that there's like a long way to go, but man, it's crazy how fast things.
There's a long way to go still. I mean, we have tons of things we still need to do.
Yeah, it's just crazy seeing from like V1. No, well, not V1 when it first launched. Remember that, Gary? I remember when it was like boom, and that was super cool. So the community, because like me. Man, data was so out of order trying to keep up with these names if you had multiple portfolios or a lot of names. So it was crucial at least having that and then building from that. So that's super cool to see. Y'all are constantly shipping though, man. Two categories.
Give credit to my team here. Just to give you some context, we started work on Grails literally from absolute zero, like maybe the last day of September, something like that. Where we had been working on other things. We were for a couple of weeks. We were thinking like, oh, should we do Grails or not? We were kind of debating wrapping up some other work. It was like maybe the last day or two of September, and we just made the decision as a team of like, okay, we're pulling the trigger. We were going full steam ahead on this. And it was all about how do we launch something, even basic things, as quickly as possible. Because from my experience, things like this, they have a tendency to drag and never really quite get to where you're going. You have to kind of like push your team to like, we have to ship, get things out there and, start iterating. And when we launched in November of last year, I mean, yeah, obviously, there are a lot of bugs and problems and features missing, things like this. And our thinking was at that time was I thought, well, there's some things here that are valuable that people don't currently have. And if it's valuable to some people, great. Why are we holding it back? They can start using, get some value out of it. And then we can iterate from there. So that was what we decided to do. Can I show you guys some new features that we've done even recently?
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I able to share my screen?
You should be able to.
Let's see if I can do this. All right. This is a new feature, actually, we just launched in the last day or so. So you guys can see my screen. This is Crypto.eth. This is the name that I own. And of course, we have this Google Metrics thing. By the way, I want to say something. Gary, we started working on this weeks ago. And it took, I won't go into all the details, it took weeks to be able to get to the point where we're even able to access this information. And I will also share this too, Gary. This is some alpha for everyone listening. The way the API for this works, you can't easily get, you can get information for that name, but the real magic happens when you can get information for a lot of names, now start to compare them. But to do that, it's going to take some time for us to catalog that information. But we've already started work on that. So I'm really excited about that. It's when you start to have this information for every name in our system, you can start to sort and filter and cut and things with all that information. That, I think, it's really magical. Okay, but a new feature here is this button right here. So we noticed that a lot of people were taking screenshots of this and sharing it on Twitter, which is cool. A problem with it, though, is that it's kind of far down on the screen. It's far away from the name. So you get this screenshot that has no context. You just have to say what it is or something like this. And we didn't really necessarily want to change where it was on the page. So we made this button, which creates this nice graphic with the name, with all the stuff, with a link right there that you can easily just hit copy and you can paste it right into your tweet. There's a little feature that we put out.
And that's a graphic?
Yep.
Cool.
It's just an image. You can download or copy if you want.
When you click, I haven't tried this. When you click paste into anywhere, does it paste the image and the text?
It's just the image here. I'll show you the exact.
Well, I would hey, whoever's taking notes on your team watching this, it should when you click copy. When you click, are you sharing? I can't see you. I gotta put your screen back on. So when you click the copy button, you can make it when you code the copy button, you can code the copy button so it copies the image and text. And so there should be text in addition to the image that goes into the clipboard. And the text.
What text would you want in the clipboard?
Well, as your marketing guy, you want the text to say something generic like, "Hey, check out this, insert ENS name here on Grails.App.com/crypto.eth," right? So this way, when they paste it in the Twitter, it already has the template of something to say, the name pulled in, and then a link to that name, so they don't have to type. Why make them type the name?
Right. Okay. Good point.
Yeah.
Would it make sense? I'm just thinking this through right now. So let me actually share this other tab again. Sharing another screen.
That's so cool. I didn't even see that button. This is the first time I'm finding.
Oh, we just launched it the last day. We just put it up.
That's neat. So I'm going to show that to all my normie friends, and it's going to look professional.
Yeah. Would it make sense, Gary, to I don't know. I'm just trying to think this through. Well, I see the value in it, and I also think if you just want the image, then it's annoying or something like this. But I don't think should we have a copy with text button? But that's probably too complicated. So maybe we just have this.
No, just a copy button. What do they get when they click copy? Where are they pasting this? They're pasting this into their Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter. Yeah,
so,
we could probably do that. Yeah.
So when it pastes in the Twitter, it should paste an image. How you go to a website and it it might. So sometimes you copy the text and then when you paste it, it says this was copied from this website, right?
Yeah. Okay. So the dev who said he was going to be listening to this with a pen and paper, he just messaged me and said, "Tell Gary I took that down."
Yeah. I mean, you're just saving. You're just
easy. I mean, look, that's a great idea. It's not hard to do. Maybe we'll even get it done tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
No, seriously, we might. I mean, that's probably a simple thing to do. We could probably do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Then if someone doesn't think to add the URL, now the URL is there. If someone doesn't think to say what the name is, right? You just give them the minimum information you need to make unique content. And then not only are you allowing people to make unique image content, you're allowing people to put out unique text content. That's providing context, which is then adding information, which is then being aggregated, which is then being, leveraged.
I agree. Easy.
Which, I have to say, Brantly, like, what blows my mind about what you're doing the most, and it makes me giddy, is the data aggregation that's possible with what you're doing. Because, like, you've hinted that you secretly know what you're doing, and I don't know if you know what you're doing.
Do I know what I'm doing? I don't know what I'm doing.
But I know what you're doing. I don't know.
I don't think I'm hinting anything.
I don't know if you know, but I know.
I don't believe in hinting. I just say what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the amount of data, like when you start taking the infinite number of ENS names, right? The infinite number of domain names, the infinite number of words. Yeah, there's a lot. Because Brantly was talking about how, like, everyone we're not going to run out of ENS names. Like the problem with ENS is that if everybody wanted their ENS name tomorrow, like say everybody in the world wanted their ENS, it's literally impossible. Like everybody can't have their own ENS name because there's not enough block space for
block space. Yeah, but we're scaling, right? Aren't we scaling?
Yeah, we're scaling. Even with the scale that we're doing, you can only shove so many ENS names into every block on layer 1.
No, that's true. I mean, that's
but anyway, just digressing a little bit. When like the amount of categorization, if Grails.App does maximum category tagging, and then there's multiple data sources coming in from the server to say this is the number of people visiting the page, and the server saying this is the number of people adding something to their watch list. And then you're pulling in data from Google search volume, and you're pulling data from Google cost per click, and you're just pulling all this data in. It's you're going to be able to have insights and information that that other people aren't going to have access to, which is going to be very, very valuable.
Yeah. I mean,
right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, like we want to get all the data and then we want to make it accessible to people. And here, can you put my screen up again? I'm sharing a different tab again. Sorry, I keep like.
Oh no, I have to figure out how to like give you permission to just make that automated. Am I you an admin?
Yeah, I think I can share also.
Can I write on the screen?
We'll talk about it in the production meeting.
Yeah, we'll get it sorted out.
Here's another thing we just launched where we added in the last week or so. This little thing here, last seen on Grails, and then last transaction on Ethereum. Very, very valuable.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, you can see has this person ever signed into Grails? And if so, when was the last time? And then this last time, transaction as well. Very, very, just it gives you a lot of context about is this account active? Because as you guys know, many people have multiple accounts. So you might say, oh yeah, I'm not active with this account, but I'm very active on this other account that people don't know about or something like that,
All right.
Let me ask you this.
Real quick, feature request.
Go ahead.
There's a difference. So if somebody has 2 accounts and they never log into one of their accounts, but they have domain names in that account, they might not log into their second account, but they might be renewing names in that account.
Correct.
So I need to understand not only if they log into that account or if they made it.
Is someone else renewing their names?
Yeah, yeah, and there's already apps that track that, which there's a degree maybe that should be a paid feature because even though it is private, even though it's public information, you don't have to blast that to say who's renewing whose names, but that is public data that you could and sort of should be putting out there. And if an account is sort of dead according to your current metrics because it hasn't been seen or made a transaction in 7 years, but somebody is like renewing the names, when I visit that account, I need to know that.
Good point. We could call it maybe last renewed.
Yeah, sure.
Last time any of the names in their account were renewed. Now, of course, as you know, just because someone renews a name on their account, it might be that person acting from another account, or it might not. It could be a stranger. I mean, there's all sorts of things that people do. So it's not 100%, but it's a useful data point. You're right, because it might be like they haven't done a transaction in 7 years. Oh, but someone renewed their names, 2 days ago.
And so if you go down that path just a little bit, you now have the last renewed date for that account. You have the last minted date for that account. And then you have the last transferred in, transferred out date for that account.
Okay, interesting.
Because when they renew names, it's in a different account, right? They take a name, they put it from the first account, they put it in their second account, and then they add 20 years renewal to the name, and then they transfer it into another account, right? So I'm just saying, like, because I'm like got to understand, like, my brain, I'm sort of like pre-gaming the system.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So the last transferred in, transferred out would be.
Another thing I'll mention is a limit. So again, we're a big believer in get it to where it's useful, push it. You can always improve it later. So for example, this last transaction, this is only for Ethereum L1. But we could in the future have it be last transaction on Ethereum L1 or any of the major L2s or something like that. Again, just might give you a broader perspective.
Yeah, or just throwing it out there, that's because, first of all, that's data that you absolutely should have. Like, the more advanced you are, obviously that should be multi-chain. I'm sort of learning that, building my API. But just throwing it out there, that could be a paid feature, right? Yeah.
So, we are thinking about it, by the way. We've discussed having some sort of like Grails Pro subscription, maybe even a couple tiers or something like this. And part of it is, so right now our current philosophy about it, I'd love to hear your feedback on this, is any feature that I think people expect, like in an app like ours, will be free. Like basic functionality, that will be free for everybody. I'd say particularly functions that are easy to replicate. Like, there's no reason for us to charge for something that we charge for it. Someone else will just do it for free somewhere else. Like, it's stupid. It's dumb. But there are some features that we have and some features that we're working on that are difficult to do, difficult to replicate, and are not easily, done by individuals or other companies. And that maybe even cost us money, significant money to do. And so for those, and that maybe aren't like normal features on an app like this. For those, we start to think, maybe we should put this behind a subscription, because it does cost us something, and if this really is valuable, people can pay for it. And look, here's the other thing too, is at the end of the day, we can't keep doing this for free. We need to find some sort of sustainable business model, and, we have had the philosophy of we're first focused on delivering as much value as possible to the users. That is our first thing. Like, that's where we're starting, and then eventually, once we think we've delivered a certain threshold of value, then it's like, all right, we start to feel comfortable. Okay, we might need to start putting some advanced features behind a paywall.
Hey, Brantly, let me ask you this. This is good for anyone watching. I just went on your ENS profile and seen this. So, like, where it says building an on-chain social graph right there, I see that's in the status line of your records.
Correct.
So that the status line makes it show there correctly.
Yep.
And then the description is where his like Catholic husband, father. But this is something
like bio.
Yeah, so that's good to know. Like, you can go in these records and it'll set on EFP on your profile. But like, so here's a for instance, and I'm actually going to do this. That's why I want to check with you. I've got multiple accounts, and if you go to my just Bama.eth, you know what I'm saying? I want to put also representing this wallet, this wallet, this wallet, this wallet. You know what I mean? In my records. Yeah, right there. So I want to go set so I'm going to do this and disclose my other wallets that I'm holding. There, you know what I mean? So if someone sees there, they're only going to see that, and that's just 3 random names, right? But they can know they can visit this wallet. I wonder, is there a way you can put a link in there that redirects?
Great question.
Well, there's actually Bama. There's two different ways of, off the top of my head, of doing what you're saying. There's one way where they list to say, hey, these are my other wallets, right? They like a list up here in the header or something. But there's a second way where you merge all the data, right? Imagine someone like looking at all your names, and you have 3 different accounts, and if you look at your one Bama profile, all the names will be, everything you have listed for sale will all be in one category, like one, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I want to do that. You see what I'm saying? And I think someone else that has multiple accounts could do something similar, just so that people could. Because if you just look at that, you're like, oh, this guy's got 3 names, unless you went to my X profile. You know what I mean? And seen that. So I think that's a good practice that I'm going to do. I'm going to put some of my other wallets and maybe my status to the right. But I'm going to set all this up. That's pretty cool how you can.
Here's something we support that we invented that you could do, and we need to maybe improve this a little bit. But this, it's making me think. I've thought about this before, but we need to do this. Is look at this. These are clickable. So,
yeah, right.
So this is something that we invented, and it's on the EFP app. It's in the Ethereum Identity Kit component. It's on Grails, where if you put the @ symbol, then a .eth name, we recognize that as an ENS name. It's clickable to that profile.
Oh, nice.
So just like on Twitter, you in your profile, you put @ blah 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 things, and that's clickable to that profile. Same thing here, and I think this is something that people should support in all apps everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say there's a limitation on this right now. You're making me think we need to prioritize this, which is right now. So just so you guys understand, this whole top profile thing, except for the account part, but everything else, this is actually a component from Ethereum Identity Kit. If you go to ethidkit.com, you can use this exact same component on your website if you want to. We also have another form of the profile that's more like vertical and like a card. So we're dog fooding our own products here of where this is from a component library that we manage. Okay, so right now, if you click this, it goes to that profile, but on the EFP app. So what we need to do is we need to make it so that if you use that component, so you see the same exact component here is also on the EFP app, EFP.app. We need to make it so that if you put the component on a different website, you can customize where those links go. So instead of going to the EFP app profile for that, it goes to your website profile app for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. They could
that way, when we click on this on Grails, it would go to Grails.market on the Grails app or on.
Yeah, that would be clutch, Brantly, if y'all could do that, so that someone.
So we already have the building blocks for it. We just need to update that, which we could do. We just need to prioritize it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that, because I think about that from time to time. Like, I've got all these wallets, but if you look at my profile, you just think I have these 3 names. You know what I mean? So that's going to be cool that someone can.
Yeah, I thought you were a whale, man. Where are your names?
Yeah, listen, I'm a nickel and dime across the Ethereum blockchain. I'm like scattered out.
Dude, I knew the bear market was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. Bama's down to 3 names.
Listen, man, I'm going to go on and tell you, this bear market, I'm so grateful that I had conviction and just kept it moving. You know what I mean? I picked up some phenomenal names through these past couple years. So I'm glad that I stuck it out, man. The thesis is unchanged. Yeah, but that is good, man. That's good to know. I'm glad we actually have this call, because there's a lot of good that's going to come of that also, on top of people that are watching to just learn. Because, yeah, if someone can click my profile and go to my other wallet, that's super clutch. So they can just kind of toggle around your profiles. You know what I mean? That's interesting. I hope y'all are able to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on our board right now. It's definitely doable. What this requires is we have to update the way that this card works. This component works on, I'm sorry, the way this component works in Ethereum Identity Kit, and then we upgrade the the Grails to the latest version. And so basically, we'll have to make it so that anybody who uses this component could do the same thing. Where if you put this component on your website, the links are clickable to the profile on your website that you specify. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. This is going to be a good, and there's so much more stuff. We haven't even got into the categories. I've seen y'all drop industries today. That's
yeah. Well, can I say a few things about the profiles? Just want to point out.
100%.
We've made some other updates to these as well. So you'll notice that on the bottom there, we have all these like links here. We have socials. If you set them, this is all from your ENS profile. All this is from your ENS profile is EFP, of course. But we have some ones that are automatic. So this is a link to your Vision profile right here, your OpenSea profile, your profile on the ENS app, and to your account on Etherscan. And that's just automatically they're generated no matter what. So because we just want to make, these are what people want to be able to access,
So these are auto-generated based on the ENS app data from you having your record set.
Well, these 4 are just generated from your Ethereum address.
Okay.
These are from if you have those records set in your ENS profile.
Okay.
Same thing with this, everything you see here, all of this is 100% on-chain. None of this is just our own system. And we also made it this edit profile. So if you're on your own profile button, you have this edit profile button.
100% of this is on chain. That's what you just said, right?
Yes.
100%, not 99%.
Well, no, I'm sorry. The data is all from on.
Yeah, right. Like if I want to edit my profile,
our website's just our website.
Literally everything you see here, in terms of where the data comes from, right? The POAPs are from POAP. And all these links
status,
are
bio,
links,
name, avatar, header, image,
wallet address, right? Everything here is pulling from the wallet address or the ENS address.
The ENS profile, yes, 100%. We don't fool around, okay? We don't do any of this off-chain bullshit. We're on-chain. This is why we're here.
Okay? All you're doing, all this website is doing is taking on-chain data, and it's just displaying it to you
in a useful way
on a centralized, very awesome .app website. And so, how long until you mirror this entire website to a .eth?
It's a great question. So it depends on how you do that. If you do that with IPFS, the problem with IPFS is that IPFS has limitations on the types of things you can do with your web app. And so if we wanted to do that, and we basically have to create like a stripped down version. And the problem there is then it's like, okay, now we're like maintaining 2 different apps or something like this. And so we're just focused on our main web app right now. Something else I want to point out too is that it used to be this edit profile button.
That is really, I just want to say that is very awesome if and when that happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I would consider it a low priority right now, just simply because we're full steam ahead on the main web app. If eventually we want like a light version that's on IPFS or something, yeah, we might do that eventually. Yeah, sure, why not?
Just to reinforce how, because listen, if you don't do it, then you allow this potential for an arrow in the armor. And you just need to cover that, patch that, and say, if anything happens to the Grails.App, TLD, that there is.
So, but even if we did that, though, I'll point this out. It would still require access to our API. Now,
how open source is the API?
It's entirely open source, MIT license. So everything we build, everything about the app, all of our code is open source on GitHub, MIT license. MIT license for those listening.
It's just a matter of like making it so those files are permanently available, which you can do.
Yeah, but I mean, so IPFS we could do, but I'm saying IPFS has limitations on how your website can work, and it's not worth the effort for us to create like basically an IPFS version of the app right now. Maybe we'll do it eventually.
Yeah.
But everything we've built is open source MIT license, which means someone else can spin it up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm a little bit of a decentralized maxi, even though I live in a Web2 world.
Well, okay, so let's talk about other things too. So the marketplace, the way marketplaces work. Well, I'll say this: could you make an ENS marketplace that was all 100% on chain? Yes, you could. But, and same thing for like an NFT marketplace. But nobody knows. So people don't do that because it'd be very inefficient. And so the way now, for good or ill, I'm saying this is the reality. Okay.
No, I love it. Lay it on us.
So the way people do it is when you like list an item, you don't do or like make an offer and things like this. You sign something that gets stored in like a central server somewhere. And then if somebody like accepts and things like this, then the transaction happens on chain, but the transaction only happens on chain when you're actually executing like a sale. And this means that you have the minimum amount on chain that you need. What this means though, is that you have different order books. So for example, OpenSea has an order book. That means the names they have listed and offers they have. Those are stored on their servers. Now, what OpenSea does is they have a public API and they say, hey, it's publicly available information, what is in our order book. That is how we are able to take listings and offers from OpenSea and display them on Grails. And then let's say if you buy a name, but you buy the OpenSea listing, but you do it on the Grails user interface, what we do is we tell the OpenSea API, hey, this is like happened. Okay. So there's the OpenSea order book. Then there's the Grails order book, which works basically identical to how the OpenSea one is, but we run our own. We have our own stuff. And if you put something on the Grails order book,
you have endpoints for that?
Yes, it is publicly available. Yes. So if somebody else wanted to take the Grails order book, like listings and offers, and put them on their website, they could do that right now. Yes. But those are like on our system. So for example, if we turn off our system, all of everything in the Grails order book, like all the listings and offers, they disappear because we host them. Right. That's not on chain. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I mean, OpenSea has theirs on their server. Grails has Grails on Grails server. Everybody has API endpoints for everybody to tap into everybody's data.
Yeah. So, for example, and then people have said, well, what about Vision? We have the new Vision 2.0. When can you aggregate Vision? Well, I'll say this: the day that Vision launched their market, I know Furion. Furion's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. I said, Furion, we want to support this. Where's your APIs? We'll support it right away. That was like 6 weeks ago or whatever it was. We've also and we've said our APIs they're already public on our GitHub. But if somebody has a question how to use it, we can answer any question. And Vision just I think they're busy on their own stuff, so they haven't.
You got to do
totally closed, not available to us.
Yeah.
So the reason we don't support Vision stuff on Grails is because they haven't made it available to us. But as soon as they do, we will. And they have not made Grails things accessible on Vision, not because we've made it accessible to them. They just haven't done it yet. And that's their prerogative to do. I'm saying that.
Do you know, is OpenSea available on Vision?
I think they just launched that like today.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they're I think that it's good that they're slow and steady if that's where they need to be right now, because getting shit done is hard. You got to have the right people and the right team doing the right work, and there's always like a logistics and money. And so,
I'm very proud to say we launched with OpenSea aggregation in November.
Yeah, Grails. I mean, listen, I got
that was like we couldn't launch without it. Like that's we that was like basic. That's how we thought about it.
It was very difficult to use Grails when the first week that Grails came out.
Oh yes. Oh, everything was broken. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to be a little more political, but it was very difficult, and I couldn't use it at all. It was for what I do. it was not usable. And I think that, it would have been a little bit better for Grails at the time to do a quieter, softer launch. But maybe that's impossible because we're such a small room of people.
Well, that's not what we did. And we were in Buenos Aires. We launched it. I'm glad we launched it when we did. We got it out there.
Well, we got like a lot of news out there. But the thing is like the delta between the first week and the second week was like literally night and day, right? Yeah. It's like from the North Pole to the South Pole.
Yeah, but we're improving all the time. And look, I'll say is people did start using it right away.
Understatement, because like the amount of sophistication that Grails has is already really, really strong, and I think more people do need to check it out, and more people need to use it because the amount of data that people have to secure names that are important. Other people that are using Grails have a competitive advantage, right? And everything is free, and so it's just there's a ridiculous amount of value that's already there, and you're giving me a run for my money because you've implemented so many of my ideas. It's not that I'm going to run out of ideas, but you're so good at keeping up with me. I love it. It's so. How do you do it? So how many developers are on your team? Because you guys move so quickly. Do you move like how teams are supposed to move, or is your team just have some sort of secret weapon?
I think we're a really good team. I think we're especially effective. Yeah, I mean, we have.
What do you attribute that to? Right, because that's something that you can reflect on, and it can sort of seem obvious in the moment, but and yeah, sure, everybody individually on your team is awesome, but what do you attribute it to? Like, I mean, you guys, you must all have, like, for example, the same North Star, but what do you attribute to like the speed and success of your team?
I think I think it's good people, and I think we have a good culture, and we coordinate well. There's many things that have to come together for a team to be able to execute. Look, when we launched in November, things were super rough, and there were a lot of things broken and missing, things like this. But I will say people were using it right away, and I think using it in valuable ways, particularly like the bulk extension tools and things like this. And from there, it was just all about fix problems, add new features. I'll say for me, I felt like it was sort of like beginning to mid-January when I felt like we sort of got a critical mass of things with Grails done, where it's really started to feel like, okay, this is like a useful app now. This is like really coming together. It kind of took a couple of weeks of really grinding through a lot of the hardship there. And by the way, I'm glad we had it public because that helped us get through that. We had to have real users constantly breaking everything, and telling us and complaining and reporting and things like this. That helped.
Obviously made the right decision.
I'm sorry?
You obviously made the right decision.
Well, I think we did. Yeah. So no, I'm very, very happy we did what we did, because we couldn't have gotten to where we are as quickly if we hadn't done that. So January, it was like when I felt like it was like early mid-January, where we sort of got enough pieces in place where the sum became greater than that part. It was like, okay, whoa, this is like useful. And then this month in February, I just feel like we just like ran ahead doing just like, I've been so impressed by my team and the new features we've had. I just think are so cool. And can I show you around the app, show you more things?
Yes. I just realized this whole time my mic hasn't been in front of my face, so I don't know if I sound different now.
But while you're clicking off of here, Brantly, that is, I agree. The last transaction, that's something I use when a secondary ENS buyer looks at that. It's very good that that's readily available, because sometimes if I see somebody ain't active in 4 years, I'm not even, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, so nobody's going to come active just to accept my bid. So that's cool that you can kind of gauge that and see that.
Well, Bama, imagine if it showed like the last time their name was renewed. And so imagine if they never log into their account, but they always renew their name. If they don't
Mhm.
log into their account, they're not going to accept your bid.
Right.
Well, could you imagine somebody has not, you know, been on Grails ever or for a long time, and you put in a bid on their name on Grails or something, and you're checking their page, and all of a sudden you see like, oh, last active recently, you know, you'd be
Mhm.
like, ooh, all right, they're there, they're looking, you know.
Increased by 0.01. No.
Yeah, look at this. I love this. I got to hand it to Jan on our team. I love the work he's done with these mega menus. I think they're great. Look at this. Quick access to things. I love it. And we have analytics here, top sales, top registrations, top offers. We've been leaning hard into registrations lately because I'm sure, as you guys know, there's been market activity, but there's been a lot of activity in registrations. So we've been trying to like track that better, make that visible to people better. I like our homepage. I will say this is like our fourth or fifth version of our homepage. Like I said, we believe in iterating fast, and it's taking time to get here, but even this can improve a lot. Here's a question I have for you guys. If you could, if there was like one or two things you could just snap your fingers and change on our homepage, what would you do to make it better?
Let me see.
I'm going to think about this from a business marketing perspective, and the website is missing social proof. So what I would recommend
Good point.
is to either, there's one strategy, which is to think of a strategy. And then there's a second strategy, which is to pay 50 grand for the Twitter API. And, once you have access to the Twitter API, then, you can really tap into a lot of other data in terms of who has a .eth name in their, description, or who has a .eth name in their name. And there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily like, Web3 people that are very popular, that can be sort of highlighted.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, Gary, I don't know if you know, the Twitter API, they changed the pricing. Like
Is it even more expensive after they made it
no,
more
it's
expensive?
cheaper.
Oh, what?
And we're already on it, and we're already like using it. And
Where's
we're
the ETH leaderboard?
And we're using on some new things. We're working on some new things with that.
Okay. Well, that.
No, but what I'm interested though in hearing more is like, okay, so other than ETH leaderboard, on the Grails homepage, how would you use Twitter stuff, the Twitter API on this page? You said for social proof. I mean, I agree we need social proof. So how do we do that? What do we do?
Well, without without having it all figured out right now.
There's Gary, you're the man with it all figured out. That's why I'm here.
You have all the data from Grails that says what names are being registered and sold. And then separately, you have a different product, which is the Twitter Grails Twitter bot.
Yeah.
And so it seems like you should tie the two together. So when people do make a sale, like bringing that information full circle. I'm not sure how to make that intelligent and how to separate because you really want to highlight the people that are end users getting their names. So someone who isn't a reseller.
Are you saying like, should we like show, here are the Twitter accounts of people who have recently like sold things on Grails or something like this?
Yeah, maybe it doesn't need to be just the new stuff on Twitter, but I have a couple of spreadsheets from what seems like 15 years ago of all the people, like major companies that already have their ENS names. Do you have that spreadsheet? It's been circling for a while.
I think I've seen it before.
Yeah, and so people don't realize that there's a lot of big names that have their ENS names, not just like A16Z companies, but we're talking Fortune 500 companies and celebrities and big franchises.
Yeah, like Patriots. Yeah, there's several. There's
just a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And they're Grail names. They're Grail names. A lot of people have their Grail name. And more and more is happening all the time. Holy geez. Who's that one guy? Revoke.eth. That's a big deal. right? Like that's like a big
Yes.
win inside the industry. Like that
Mhm.
should be highlighted to all the other targeting, right? Micro targeting the founders and the CTOs. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I
that's
agree with
the
absolutely.
founder. Yeah, that's the founder. He got revoked, and so that was a recent event that was big on Twitter. That got a lot of play. I mean, I don't know. You guys saw that, right? I mean, Brandon, you had to
Yes.
retweet that. I don't know, but that got a lot. That probably got like, I don't know, millions of views, and so that should be not targeted to the everyday seller. That should be like micro targeted to the founders of Web3 and business leaders to say, hey, your Grail name that matches your brand identity is available, and you can use this website to figure this out. Just like, they did, just like revoke.cash did with revoke.eth. I mean, it's a very recent, it's right on target.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then
That's a good
that's like,
point.
that's like the tip of the pyramid almost of like, beer.eth and Visa. Like I'm pretty sure Visa owns Visa.eth. Am I getting that wrong?
Yeah.
I don't
Like
have
Paris
the
Hilton.eth.
spreadsheet in front of me, but I think like Puma.eth and, like there's just like a lot of, I gotta find that spreadsheet.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying on that, and in a
Very
sense,
good point.
they all. I could see that being utilized on here, but there almost needs to be, what is it, like etherealized that goes and speaks to institutions. We need an ENS, something like that goes, because that's kind of like similar when I was doing like some brokering things. Is that
Hey,
spreadsheet?
Bama, when did you get into ENS again?
When I get it, when did I get in? It was like it was just after I didn't get the airdrop. It was right after. So, but yeah, I had
But we
spreadsheet.
did that. We did this in 2021. We had ETH leaderboard. We memed it. Celebrities and brands all over the world got their .eth name and put it on Twitter, and it was amazing.
Yeah, we need like a department for that, man. That's outreach, and because that's what I was doing. I had a spreadsheet of these top names, like, because when you've got beer sold for X amount, Patriot sold, you know what I mean. It sounds more credible going to a business or institution, even if you're not trying to sell it to them. But when you can show them, like, hey, this is who else is doing it. But like here's my thoughts on the homepage. So this is just honestly, you don't want to hear this, but I
No,
don't.
I do. I
Well,
want to hear
no, I don't
everything
have
that's wrong
really
with
no
it. Remember,
complaint.
everything sucks.
This is no, I don't have no complaints. Here's my thoughts on it. So when I look at it, I use it personally. So if you could use this for two areas of this homepage for Grails, I look at it and I want to see a pulse on the market, something that we can all name flippers or investors can scroll down and see the pulse of the market. That's what you want to see, is the pulse of the ENS market on the homepage. And my feedback on that is everything's how we've requested, because it's easy to read going down through the category, like top sales premium is highest to lowest. So that's easy on the eyes. You can just kind of scan. And then when you scroll down, you can see the top categories. So boom, right there, you can see what's got the volume. You know what I mean? So that's like someone that's flipping or investing or going after specific categories or wants to see the pulse on the market. All this is set up perfect. But here's this other part of this. This is what I've always said with ENS. This is not a knock on ENS at all, but from a user perspective, if someone goes to ens.app and clicks on a name and it's not available, they're just lost in transmission. You know what I'm saying? Chances are the bounce rate's like probably phenomenal of someone that, but with, say, not just here, but like say here in what Vision set up, like secondary marketplaces, this homepage is almost like if you can get a user to that, and this AI feature I think is going to come in so clutch, because if they type in their name and it's not available and it shows other options, at least there's categories. People can go and kind of dig a little bit easily.
Shows you what to do. So it's like exactly.
Yeah, right.
So it's like either you can, oh, it's already taken, but you can buy it, or you can put an offer on it, or
Exactly.
here are similar names.
Yeah, so I think that's critical to ENS growth long term. Whenever someone, like, I don't know if it would be called bounce rate in this area, but like, you know what I mean? Someone coming in and just that little extra that shows them on getting a name. Because most people, it's just easier. Like on the ENS app, it's not so easy. I'm sure we can all agree that if I go and I was looking for my first name and it wasn't available and I was new to all of this, because we all three agreed that, hey, it clicked. ENS clicked with us early. You know what I mean? Early on in our journey. Well, the same thing, but when they visit a page and it's not available, you know what I mean? Yeah, they can do digging. That's what we did. But
there needs to be action.
Yeah,
I really
100%.
agree. Yeah.
I think the AI. So honestly, you probably don't want to hear from respect that I don't see anything. It's the flow for what I use it for is super smooth, and any of these marketplaces targeting an end user on that homepage of open arms. You know what I mean? Something like, hey, this ain't available, but this, or check this out, or something. So that's just, I think that'll increase registrations, which will overall grow the ecosystem.
Absolutely. Okay, but Bam, what could improve on the homepage?
What could you do on the homepage?
Yeah, you got to fulfill your homework assignment. What's wrong with the homepage? What can improve? Everything can improve.
Yeah. What was the horrible thing you were going to say that you didn't say?
Man, I don't off the cuff. I don't see. I'm sure I can look up something and find something. But like, let me see on mobile, because 90% of the time I'm on mobile. So the like first glance, boom. The I mean, something that's not. This is gonna. You want me to really nitpick? Just as something. Just that
Yes.
when I log on mobile, there's 2 1/4 of a name showing on mobile. Where if that could just be a center of just 2 names fluent, you know what I mean? It's just that's just like a aesthetic nitpick that is nothing in the grand scheme. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I thought it's just saying like 2 names just side by side or something.
Well,
like
it's
that.
just showing one's cut off. If you could make it where that wrote that
Yeah,
banner.
well, it's so the thinking was it kind of like shows you that it's like scrollable in either direction is the
Okay,
idea.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, 100%. See,
But whereas like, but you're right. It's really, I guess it kind of is showing you. It's showing you one fully. Kind of shows you two. We could just make it so it just shows you two fully. There'd be enough space for that. You know, I don't know, but I see what you're saying.
considering what you were saying in a sense of, I get it now that you've explained it from the toggle, so you can.
Well, but maybe we're wrong. I don't know. I'm just, I guess that's the way I'm thinking about it.
That's just off the cuff, man. Honestly, I know you don't want to hear it, Gary. You always can find something, and I will say on the Google searches, the search volume, I think that will be a market, man, when it starts to pick up. That people will be buying names based off of those metrics.
Yes. So, like I said, right now, the only way to know the Google metrics for names, you have to go to that name page and see it. Okay.
Mm.
But we are already in the process of getting it set up so that you can say, like, I want to look at these names and sort them by their Google searches this month, or sort them by their CPC, right? Cost per click. That now is that you don't have to go looking for the name. You can use this data to find the name. That is very powerful.
I agree. That
So, you know, we might have. I think we're probably going to charge for that though, because it's really hard to get that data.
It's very hard to get that data. There are sources to get that data, Brantly. So like, you know, yeah, I mean, you should be able to get that data. There's also data. There's like data, which, you know, there's other organizations that have you know, sort of representation of that data that you can use that, you know, is out there. I can it's like SEO stuff. I could probably send you some links. The website has a llms.txt file, stuff like that.
Grails does not yet. We have
like
it for
schema,
other projects, but we have it on our to-do list to make like a Grails MCP server.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's interesting in the open cloud community. There's a lot of talk about, like, is MCP dead compared to
right? No, I know. We saw that conversation.
Yeah. But
people are still using MCP servers.
What's that?
I mean, yeah, I saw that conversation. We talked about it as a team too. I mean, it's hard to know how things are going to go. I mean, I said that is an opinion out there, but other people, I think, other people think no, MCP servers are here to stay. But the MCP servers are themselves evolving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes. And I sort of see it like social media, right? You have different social media sources out there, or, you know, channels out there, and you can pick a couple, you can do all of them. And it's about findability. And so you want to increase the findability of you know, the content of the website, which you can do through having a good website. You can do by having schema.org cards maximized, you know, OG tags, all that good stuff. LLMS file. Just an MCP is just like another source of findability in that mix. The website is really good. The homepage, I like the homepage sort of. I'm a high information person. I don't know if you can imagine. I could just, I like all the information. I like that, generally speaking, it has good headline tags. I'm a little bit of a geek like that. I feel like it's really important, that you have good, think of it as like H1, H2 organizational structure.
Yep.
Most people don't notice that stuff, but for me, that really matters because I understand usability. And then for machine learning, it's also a big win, right?
Absolutely.
But with all of that being said, what is the website missing? The website, like I was saying before, the website is missing social proof. But the website, I think it also misses the mark for the lowest common denominator in terms of the I don't know. I want to say the target audience user that comes to the website. But when I think about the website, there's several different audience members, right? You have one audience type, which is like resellers, very heavy users who are doing deep research. You have end users, which just need to log in and maybe update something, maybe mint a name, maybe look at some data. There's just all sorts of users. But I guess like if you want to target the everyday non-Web3 user, then the website does completely miss the mark. And maybe underneath the search bar above this scrolling thing, although I love how the image of this is just a really nice background as we talk right now, so like this is great. So but somewhere in the hero or right below the hero, the sub hero, if you will, there needs to be some sort of graphic and text that has this really that immediately gets the point across that this one name is your name on OpenSea, it's your name on Grails, it's your name on Etherscan, it's your name on MetaMask. It's, what I mean? Like if you could imagine like, Brantly.eth, and it's like mapping, it's like the same name on each one. And so people just need to understand,
we don't explain what ENS is at all.
Right. Like we don't explain, but people do need to understand.
Attempt to, yeah.
Right. And maybe for better or for worse, right? Like one of the big criticisms that everyone's always had about the ENS website, and I'm pretty sure like Vision like did the same thing, and everyone's doing the same thing. Like Grails is doing the same thing. Nobody talks about the .eth, number one, and you're talking about adding a @ symbol in front of a name, and you're saying it works for the .eth. I never got a chance to ask, does it work for .com? Right, when you put an @ symbol in front of a .eth name, does it? Because my ENS,
I think it does.
Yeah, well, one of my ENS, you could check it. One of my ENS is at web3domains.com, right? Because I ENS'd it. But we don't talk about the .eth, and then we don't talk about, because like we're so in the sauce. Like not only are we in the sauce, but we're also in the industry, right? We're also building in it. We're also here every day, and so we know all these things. But if your average brother or mother or uncle or college friend in your group text, or right, like people that aren't in maybe they understand Web 2, maybe they don't. I just always fall back into thinking, because I'm always thinking about usability and usability research, that there's people in our industry, man. There's founders in our industry that don't understand ENS.
Yeah.
So when I get and that's a whole other conversation. But when I think about here, like, do we need a graphic? Do we need to convey? So when someone immediately, because you're assuming, like, if you think about a funnel, there's a research and discovery phase of the funnel, and there's discovery, and then there's research, and then and then eventually they purchase. We're making an assumption, and we're totally skipping over the very early. Right, there just needs to be people don't understand what an ENS or the significance is, it or the cross chain, cross Web 2, right? Like this, like a .eth will work on every Web 2 website in the future.
Gary, I think that's something Brantly, me and Gary can both agree on. Like, if there was some way you could put a button, not saying do, but like just thinking out loud, somewhere at the top, like he said, a hero or just a toggle, even if it said new to ENS, learn more, and you clicked it, and it was a small redirect that went to ENS basics. That because like if you could do something like that, you could
Zero
create.
click. You got to have yes, and.
Yeah, 100%. And you could create funnels. And I'm thinking long term here, and you could funnel in too. And that would not, this is a tool that we're using, right? But for a new person, it could reach critical mass if you could get.
But this is also the homepage, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. If there was just something, even on the first, like, because like I was talking about before y'all was speaking on this of the ENS flaw, in my opinion, of people just the bounce. If there was something that someone knew, because we all know how to navigate all this, but if someone ran across Brantly's page and seen all this identity and was like, okay, cool, I want to check this out, and they clicked on it and they didn't know about ENS, I could see where this would be sensory overload. You know what I mean? So, or there could be something.
No, that's true. It's a good point. Yeah, no, it's a very good point. I would say, so the way I'm thinking about this right now is, Gary, everything you're saying is absolutely true. And the way I'm thinking about it, the way we're talking about it is we eventually, not right now, but eventually want to build Grails into not just, so right now, Grails, let me back up. Grails right now is sort of like, it's like a bulk manager and marketplace for like savvy power users of ENS who already know ENS, already know crypto, are interested in doing all that. That is who it is built for, very intentionally. However, I'd say that I would consider that to be like our core users, who we built it for from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
And what we'd like it to eventually maybe develop into is the best ENS manager app, period. And this was a key thing in my thinking. I used to think like, oh, you have like an ENS manager and then you have like a market. And I was like, no. That's like, it's all wrong. Because really what it is, and like Bama, you were saying this earlier, I'm just looking to get an ENS name. I'm looking for a name. Oh, it's not available. I need options of like, not only here are other potential names, but let's say I really want that name. I can put an offer, or I can buy now, or it is available. I can register it, or I can find another similar thing and register it. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me how I acquire the name, whether I register it or I buy it from someone else. The end result is I got the name I was looking for. And so it's really just, I want an ENS name. I can get through any method. I can get the ENS name I want, and I can manage that name or my names. That's really what Grails is. And so we actually used to originally call Grails like Grails Market. Then we started calling it Grails Market and Manager. And then we actually changed it. Now we call it, Grails Manager, ENS Manager and Market. Because really, it's not a market first. It's really first about, I want to get and manage ENS names, and market is just one of the ways, because we also support registrations. We support premium, and we support market. Market is just one of the ways among many you can get an ENS name through Grails.
No, that makes total sense. It's like the everything app. That's the best way for ENS, when it's like the everything. You know what I mean? 100%.
And so you're right. Like the current, like the ENS Labs Manager app. Okay, let's say it's taken. Well, there's no action. Okay, great. Well, what can you do? And so to circle back to what Gary was saying, Gary, you're 100% correct. We right now, Grails kind of started off actually in our mind as like a marketplace. And then we realized, wait, we're really like a market and manager. And now we're like a manager and market. And we actually we do registrations. Actually, like we're actually kind of expanding our own concept of what we're doing. And market is not disappearing, but I'd say it's getting contextualized in a bigger vision of what Grails is. And so right now, Grails it's still like focused on that like power user who already knows what they're doing. But we do want it eventually to evolve into something that's for everybody. but we have to start somewhere. And I'd say like you power users, you're like our core audience that we're like starting with, and then we'll expand from there. That's our idea right now.
The market is such a small part of ENS, but it's where all the money is. So it's
and highly motivated people who are like very involved.
Yeah, well, not just the highly motivated people that are really involved, but if someone needs to, like, an end user needs to buy their name, they got to buy their name, and they have to use like whatever system is going to be the most trustless and trustful to get it done. With the best tools and the best technology, just to make a simple transaction, right? Because where do you make that transaction? Over the counter, OpenSea? No, you do it on Grails.App. And so for the mundane end user, for the mundane power user, for anybody, the simple transaction needs to go through. The many transactions need to go through, but with even though that's 90% of making things happen, and the blood of the system, right, is the transactional component, which we call money. And assets, right? And that exchange, that marketplace, it is, the marketplace is just a really, really small, it's like one piece of like everything else. Because when you think about, okay, once you have a name, like most people are not buying and selling names, right? Most people want to buy their name. And then the question comes, well, what is this good for? How is this useful? Right? How do I set my name? How do I create a website? How do I update my fields? How do I update my records? How do I add my link, add my bio, add my background image? How do I add additional information about me for this website or that website for these data fields, right? Another website, like if I go to like puppies.eth, I don't know who owns puppies.eth, but if there's a community at puppies.eth, and puppies.eth says, yeah, add a field to your ENS profile that says my dog. And in your my dog profile, you put like what type of dog you have, right? Or the name of your dog. And then we're going to populate that field, over here. The using of the ENS name, and not just using, we talk about power users in terms of the marketplace. We don't talk enough about power users in terms of using the name itself.
The way I've started to, and part of the reason we started in our mind with the market is because that's like what was missing, right? Because Division 1.0 shut down. And so we were like, oh, we need a dedicated marketplace. So that was kind of like what was the motivating factor. Like I said, we just realized that actually a proper understanding is that the market is just one leg of the table of like what this bigger thing is. And yeah, absolutely. And because look at this. We have like premium's like a major thing we do now, like look at all the things in premium. I know, look at this. What's by watch list? The most watched things right now that are in premium. This is incredible. Look at this co-founder profile, work, jewels, levels, these things, a lot's going on here. Guys, what was like kind of like very sobering to me? It's going to sound extremely obvious, but I like to come to explore and then activity. And I like to put it to just minted. Okay. And it does, one second. Okay. It's newer thing. We have a bug where it filters everything, but the newer things aren't, as they're coming in, aren't filtered, but we'll just ignore that for now. Okay. So this was like very sobering to me, because this is showing in real time every single ENS name that's registered anywhere on chain, period. Okay. And we've spent a lot of time making categories, and supposedly, like, part of the whole point of categories is like these are like more valuable names to some degree, right? Like their names
they have
like
more. They have some meaning that can be associated with them.
Some context. Now it's all subjective,
right? And you might have not have known that this 5-letter word has meaning, but now you know that this 5-letter word has meaning.
Correct. So what I'm just saying is it's amazing to come here and see obviously we have a lot of names and categories now. Okay. Like hundreds of thousands. The vast majority of names being registered, of course, are not in any category, of course. And then just looking at what are people actually registering? That is very sobering. Like, what are people actually going out and registering right now? Let's just look. Let's just see. authzcontroller.eth. I have no idea what that means. Credential protocol. Maybe that's someone's project or something.
Yeah,
Well,
real quick, that they don't have their ENS name set, but that person just bought like 4 names in a row.
Correct.
Is that their profile? What does that say? ENS V2 on that image, that little black image? Is that the avatar?
That's the avatar
Of the previous owner.
of the previous owner. ENS V2 Marketplace.
That's the avatar that was previously.
Is this Gary? Was Gary registering these during this call? Maybe.
Yeah.
EVM research.
Searching for
registry. The same
That's
guy.
very good. I like that. I like that auth registry. That's actually really good.
It's interesting.
That is something that I would mint actually. So
yes, Jesus is my fighter. Jesus already won.
Ooh, what's that? Roller skating? Was that roller skating? Ooh, that's nice.
Roller skating is in sports. The figure skating. Sports. Zelos. See, it's coming down because new things are coming. Shamash. That's like a mythology thing. We just added that. Cyber coins. K21 bot board. Interesting. There's obviously a lot of agent.
You know what's interesting? Go to the filters and say none for the category. Because a lot of people are minting some of these names because they're in the category. But what's really interesting are the names that are not in a category.
No, the vast majority. Look, none in this view right here.
They predict it's going to get categorized probably.
Optimization agent, analysis agent, strategy agent, accounting agent, investment agent.
Well, that's all. Yeah, this person's going crazy.
Brokerage agent, retirement agent, pensions agent.
Is this not crazy for y'all to see versus from being here so early? Like when you can click on something like this and see the flow, like, and this is slow right now, but like in ENS summer when the registrations, you know what I mean? That was insane. That had to be crazy look from being there from the get-go.
Absolutely. Oculi.eth. What's app pay, but with missing a P. AIX agent.eth. Coordinators. Agent 39.
That's coming to a Twitter shield near you.
Hey, should we add a new digits category, but it's called agent digits, where it's agents 999 club, agents 10K, where it's just the word agent with the number after it? Should we do that?
No, because that's too much noise. But if there was a way, like in all seriousness, if there was a way that you can take I don't know how hard. I mean, obviously you can do this. I don't know how hard it is. But if you could look at every ENS name and say, this ENS name has the word agent, and this ENS name has another word, and that's it. So you had like my agent, or you had ocean agent, or you had sand agent, or you had camera agent. Then you would have a filter for like agent names to say, hey, these are all the names that are registered.
Yeah, we have contains.
Yeah,
you're talking about creating a category though. So, right, if you can extract every ENS name that can, but you cannot include Ocean Agent 23 or Ocean Agent X, right? Because Ocean Agent X is just like that. That's an infinite. There's an infinite number of ENS names that have the word.
Yes,
agent.
there are.
Can you bulk select?
No. Hey, Gary, you're wrong. There's only 21 million that have agent with a number up to 21 million. That's it. There's only
no, it's not true, because you could put the number before or after. So now there's 22 million.
That's different. It's different.
Hey, is there a bulk button right there where you can bulk select for? So like, let's just play this out.
I guess you're right, Brantly. If that's a pattern you wanted to go for, if that's a legitimate pattern.
Absolutely can bulk select.
Oh my God! If you better hope. Look, this is how simple it's going to be when a new category pops. How someone can just go and search.
Bulk mint?
Yeah, that's
we
what I'm
not have bulk mint yet, but we're in the process of doing that right now.
That's going to be crazy when you can do something.
Oh my God! I found a feature he doesn't have.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy whenever you can do that, Brantly. Like that agent, you just how simple that is to just everything available and just select and
let's see the status available.
And then
that starts with agent, And by the way, so people need to understand how this works.
No. Say ends with number. Can you? Oh, you can't do ends with number, can you?
You can't say ends with like numbers in general.
Yeah.
But so just so everyone understands how this works, there are an infinite number of .eth names that are available that begin with agent. So our system, like, how do we decide what to show you here? Well, what we decide to show you is when it comes to available, for a name to show up as available in like searches like this, it has to have been registered, I think maybe at some point in the past, or like it has to have like touched our system in some way. So we don't just like make up new like random gibberish names and like present them to you as available. We should present things to you as available if they touched our database before in some way for some reason. Okay. That said, you can always go directly to the name page for a random gibberish name, and we'll generate a page and you could register that name. Now it's in our system and it will show up, right? Mm-hmm. But look at this.
That's a limitation, not a feature.
I mean,
that's like a limitation with ENS. Like I don't know if people.
I think it's a limitation of math that there's an unlimited number of names, so we have to decide what to show you.
And physics, like when you were scrolling through the recently minted names, I don't know if people noticed, but one of those names was gibberish. And the reason that name is gibberish is because the system, doesn't have enough entropy to really know,
Oh, this. Yeah. No, we didn't. I don't know why that's.
It's because your system doesn't know what the name is.
Yeah. No, I know why that's there, but I just don't. We have systems in place to try to make sure that never happens. And I need to put on our to-do list to make sure that like this really never, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, you mean if your system didn't know what the name was, it wouldn't show up here?
No. That we should be able to, in most cases, we should be able to decode it.
Oh, okay.
What it is.
Maybe it's super complex.
It could be. It could be something super, super weird. It could be.
Yeah. Like that's what it was. Yeah, right.
Yeah, look at this. Underwriting agent, optimization agent.
Oh, is that a filter?
Agent, bookkeeping agent.
Hey, can you make that a filter? Oh, can that be a filter? I need a filter for that.
For what?
ENS names that have not been decoded. There must be a list. There must be a list. There have to be, right? Yeah. There have to be.
Okay, well, here's the thing on that topic. Let me show you something real quick. Related to that is we now have on all name pages creation date.
That's great.
Okay.
Original.
And,
original.
I'm sorry, what?
Super original creation date.
The original creation date. Yep. Yes. Okay. But so with this, and we also have, this was interesting. We have sort by creation date.
You have to.
Okay. And yeah, you can sort here. Is this interesting?
It's cool.
That is, yeah, especially for the pre-punk Ks and
yes, and we actually have the pre-punk number on there now. By the way,
that's cool. Yeah, that there's a big following around that.
Yep. Yeah.
What was the categories today? I know that one was industries. What do you?
Oh yeah, I added this one, industry, and it has words like milling, conglomerates, nuclear power.
I've got a name that I think should. I'm going to send in HVAC. I thought it would be tagged in that category. HVAC.
Is there not HVAC?
I wonder if it's like heating or ventilation.
You know what? I can add it right now. Watch this in real time. Look at this. HVAC. Okay, HVAC is not in it should be an industry. Because you know what? That's where I got the idea for this. You said an industry. That's why it was in my mind.
And you was like, "I'll show you."
No, okay, let's do this right now.
No category.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I was wondering. That's why I asked. I've got a couple others, which
it's gonna show up right away. Watch this. We have our own like back-end UI.
Real time.
Very easily. Give it a second. Boom.
Wow. Yeah, that's fast. Crazy fast.
That's there. Okay. So yeah, we had industry.
Yeah, there needs to be like someone reverse engineering, or there needs to be like a tag system. Like there needs to be like a crowdfunding to say like, hey, I found a name and the name is not in a category, or it should be in this other category, and I'm adding a tag to this name to crowdsource the information so that they can go up the chain, and then you guys could be like, oh yeah, this name should totally be, because again, there's so many names that are minted that I think are like slipping through.
Yeah, because you know what? I like that you said crowdfunding. You know what? I can't believe I just did that for free. You should have had to pay me to put HVAC.
Come on, I got a couple more. Hey, no.
Hey, we've been categorizing names for free like idiots over here.
Yeah, well, that's not the type of crowdfunding I'm talking about, but
$20 and you can get your name added to a category.
That's crowdfunding. That's crowdfunding. I'm talking about crowd.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, Constellations was the other one we added. I mean, look, we've added a bunch lately.
That's a cool category, though. Yeah, I can see
it is. And look, there's some interesting ones available. I mean, these are all like real, like reticulum, Zeta Reticuli, which is one of the stars in the Reticulum constellation, might mean something to Gary over here. Lacerta. I mean, I don't know. These are just like, Little Dipper. These are all little different things.
People. Yeah. I mean, if you're starting a new company and you're like, yeah, I'm starting a new company, I'm trying to think of a name, and I don't want to be like, completely like weird, I'd be like, oh yeah, we call it Little Dipper. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly. Call it Reticuli.
Well, yeah, okay. Let me just go through here some of the newer ones we've had.
That's a funny word.
U.S. government, science, industry, cypherpunk. Ooh, I just did this recently. Cypherpunk.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I'm gonna have to look at that. I haven't got a chance to.
Well, let's look at it right now. It's things like Node, botnet, privacy, dark web, open source, Tor, whistleblower, hacktivism. I also have Satoshi and Satoshi Nakamoto in here. We have Hal.eth as well as Halfini.eth. SHA-256, things like this.
Gosh,
some medicine.
I remember when y'all launched. Remember, it was like, what was it? It was 999 10K, and it's a history lesson. What was
I think we had 6.
Surnames, forenames, global. It was 4 bears, and then 999 10K, and the emojis, I think. Jesus.
A couple emoji. I mean, we added a lot. We've added a huge amount. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Logistics, relative finance,
sports,
home, performing arts, historical figures, luxury. Someone requested that. Fine arts, musical instruments, natural wonders, military, tech industry, mythical creatures. I love that. Poker, paranormal, the weird, the strange, the fringe. We've got Catholicism. It's important to me. We've got chess. I love this. Conspiracy theories, what they don't want you to know. Here it is, man. You can Patsy, false flag, denialism, birds are fake. I had fun adding that one there. Birds are fake.eth. And it's registered. Okay, I'll say this. It's a funny thing about I've spent a lot of time making a lot of these categories lately. And it's again, enlightening and also like fun and like just funny to me. I'll create some lists of like all these names in a category. And before I put them on the website, I always like paste them into our bulk. I use our bulk search because Grails supports up to 10,000 terms for bulk search. And I just want to see like, are these names actually, is it, if it's 95% unregistered, like maybe that's like a bunch of dumb names, like I feel like there's a sweet spot of like, I want most of the category already registered, but there are some available that I think like seem like ones that people would want or something, and because I don't just want to put up a category of like garbage, right? And it's like, man, it's funny what people have registered,
Oh man,
fake compromise. Crisisactor.eth is right now in Grace. If anyone's watching that, crisisactor.eth. Okay. You know what's crazy? You want to hear a crazy story?
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
Gary, do you watch the Area 52 podcast? Chris Ramsey is the magician guy.
I'm not sure.
You've probably seen it. Okay,
I've probably seen it.
Podcast called Area 52, and he interviews. It's like on UFOs. I'm super deep in UFOs. Those who don't know.
Yeah.
And he had this guy on who I won't go into everything he talked about, but one thing he said was in his research about this one thing on UFOs, he came across some evidence indicating that. So you know, the U.S. government used to have or they maybe still do have psychic spies.
Mhm.
Okay, MK Ultra.
MK Ultra, remote viewing,
Or not MK Ultra. I'm sorry. Project Stargate. So Bam, are you aware of any of this? Did you know this?
No, yeah, I've been following it, but I don't know if it's the one I'm thinking of. But
Project Stargate. There's also the
Okay,
GATE program.
no, but that wasn't what was new. What was new is that he said in that context he came across evidence in the 60s. The U.S. government recruited some Catholic Carthusian monks from a monastery in Vermont to do psychic spying for them. And I think part of the thinking was that because they had a vow of silence, that their psychic powers were more developed, like their telepathy and remote viewing, things like this. Okay. And me and some people have been trying to track down if this is true. Supposedly there's like a monk at this monastery who's like 91 years old, who's still alive, has told them. Apparently he did even like stuff with aliens and things. It's weird. Okay. So if you go to here, watch this. Carthusian, it was the type of monastery. Carthusian. No, this is wrong. Carthusian. Okay, so there's an account that owns Carthusian.eth here. Okay, look at what they used to own.
Why don't they have a last text show up?
It's probably trying to like find it. They probably haven't done it for a long time. Look at this. They used to own FBI Gov. Are you understanding why this is potentially significant?
When did they register? That must be, yeah. That's now that you've told us that story, that is interesting.
Anyway, that blew my mind that the owner of Carthusian.eth also owned FBI Gov.eth also. Anyway, it probably means nothing. I just thought it was funny. When was this last registered? It was first registered in 2022. I don't know when it was last registered, though. We don't have activity for it. Our activity needs to be filled out a lot more. Anyway, there you go. It filled in 2 years ago was their last transaction.
Okay. I mean, it's possible that they never had a transaction because maybe the name was transferred into the.
That's true. Yeah.
Hey, fluoride was in Grace also in the conspiracy theory. That's funny.
Yeah, we have space. With all the Pokemon.
I'm digging all the categories. You know what's crazy is you sit here now and there's all these available names, but let something heat up in the market and watch how fast they are. You know what I mean? It's like they'll just like disappear instantly.
Well, the thing is too, Brantly, is that this has like a little bit of game of. I mean, you probably didn't like mean to do it, or maybe you haven't like supersized it yet. But the leaderboards are a little bit of gamification, and so there are some people for any category you go to where they might want to be in the top 10 of that leaderboard, right? So I don't know what category you're on right now.
This is just for everything.
Oh, for right. So there's the everything leaderboard, but there's also like the leaderboard. This could be
categories.
For categories. So this is definitely a cool leaderboard because it shows you sort of like who owns the most, like the Bitcoin rich list, right? It's like you can see it. You can see it. But even like for the specific categories, someone could be like, oh man, I want to. And so there could be obviously there's like in every category there's grails and there's floors, but there could be a category that has like 20 available floors. And they could just be like, oh, I want to be the number one dude or dudette. And they just purchase like everything. And then they're like the number one category.
Full register to shoot up in the standings. Okay, guys, This is something else that I think is crazy on our leaderboard. So you can rank people by number of names they own, the number of names they own that are in categories, number of listings they have currently, the number of sales they've ever had, sales volume. Okay. But this expired is insane. So expired, just to be clear, it means that they used to own the name expired, and no one else has registered the name since.
How am I not on this list?
Okay, but are you so it's not just that it expired, but it expired and no one else has registered it over, which means like no one else finds it valuable.
Right.
Look at this guy who has let 15,000 names expire and that no one else has since registered.
What were they? Is there any way we can?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
could just go see everyone.
Okay, we can go see expired. It's like more than our system normally handle.
Oh, God, I hope this wasn't.
That's Novavax.
Okay. Let's keep going.
You Novavax. You know it.
This guy like registered a
great.
huge number of keycap 100K.
Yeah.
No, but
No.
there's other ones here as well. Let's
Already.
just keep scrolling.
Jeez.
There's a lot. He also went deep into like 0x 10K club or something like this.
Now, Brantly, go to the top of this list. Stop scrolling. Go to the very top of this list, and then go to most viewed, and then sort by most viewed.
Okay, interesting. Okay,
because you got a data mine. You can't just scroll through 15,000.
Correct. So some of these sorts,
None of these can be on a watch list because they must be.
well, I don't know. That would be interesting to do next. So some of these sorts can take a little bit of time because we don't have this like already cached. So like our system right now is maybe for the first time ever taking all these guys' names, looking up the view count.
Yeah. No,
Okay, so this is supposedly the most viewed name, but let me actually go to that page and see what it is.
It's probably 0. 1.
It's 0. No, it's 2. It's 2.
Okay.
It's 2. And that, okay. And the next one is 1.
All right. Hey, can we go back to that the first page that you were at of the?
I just picked one randomly down here, 0. So most of these have never been viewed on Grails ever.
Can we see the by most sales volume or most volume?
Okay, so
or
let's go there. Leaderboard.
that's cool.
So okay, sales volume.
Damn, that's cool.
This guy has 4 sales worth 516 ETH from this guy. Let's look at who this guy is. Let's look at activity. So were these wash trades?
Yeah, they gotta be. Yeah,
0.3 the 3rd of July for 127 ETH.
So much. It's so clean. It's dirty.
Hey, but you know what Gary was saying? He's right. Hey, Brantly, go to the surnames global category. Yeah, I think it's surnames global.
I got it here.
I'll show you. This is what I almost did yesterday. And if someone's watching, all right, go to holders. All right, so yeah, all right, so I'm 27.
Here we go.
Yeah. Well, I started to buy 2 floors yesterday. I ended up buying Bitcoin, but I started to buy just to gamify to put me in second place. You know what I mean? So that's yeah,
absolutely.
People do check these things, I think, because I always check it occasionally on categories.
Yes, they do.
I don't know about Bama, but Keith does.
Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, who's Keith?
That's
number 3 name holder.
alias.
People talk about this page.
What is this?
What is this?
This is 999 Club
999
holders ranked by number that they own.
Wow, that's good.
This guy owns 127 999 Club. I mean, that's
and just one wallet.
Almost 13% of all of them.
That's a supply.
Yes, and the first guy to have a primary name set is Corey.eth here with 7.
I like Corey.
Master.eth. Let's look at this guy.
Have they let any expire, like go out of grace? I think this is that account. There's one account that holds a bunch that just keeps renewing them like at the last minute.
Yeah, this guy has a huge number in grace. He has a lot of names in grace in general. He's other digits in grace too. So we see that. I mean, everybody knows that they do this, so they make use of the grace period, right? So we see this on Grails. This is a great website, by the way. I don't know if you guys know about this. Someone else made.
Grails.App.
Grails.live. That shows, I think, registrations and renewals on the Grail using the Grails user interface. Every single thing that happens to the Grails user interface. So this is very interesting. You can see this guy. So this is like one of the main things people use Grails for is to manage their names in bulk. So like bulk extensions, and we allow you to do it very granularly. So like days. You do a custom date where you make them all to a certain date. I mean, there's all sorts of things. Look at this guy, renewed a bunch of names for 2 days. This guy did 6 months, 1 day. 1 month, 1 month, 1 year, 5 months, 3 days. 2 months, 14 days. This is all today.
There's things happening.
Yes, there's a lot happening.
I don't think people realize how much is happening.
Look at this. This is all we're still on today. We're just like in the afternoon right now. This is only through the Grails UI. Think about
Mm.
what's happening through the ENS Manager app and things like this.
Right.
Look at this.
It really is crazy. I don't think people realize how things are progressing. There's still so much work to do, though.
Yes, there's a lot of work to do.
There's no shortage.
14 days. Yeah, we're into yesterday now. One day. We did a bunch of names for one day.
Yeah, weird.
Anyway, guys, this has been great. I gotta get going. It's late.
Well, it's been fun. It's been informative. It's been educational. It's been an information learned.
Hey, real quick, we have 2 new sorts. We have so many sorts and filters, guys. We have sort by listing
That's a good
date
thing.
and sort by listing expiration date. So listing date is when it was listed, like when they did the listing, and expiry is when it expires. Those are 2 new sorts. People, somebody requested, I think is useful. I'm just looking at what we've gotten done even the last like 2 days.
Man, the data aggregation on the site's insane. How you can just like pick apart ENS data in any angle you want.
Yeah, we fixed up the leaderboard a bunch on mobile, and there's still more work there to be done, but that we did a lot of work on that. Oh, here's something. This is like a quality of life thing that people might not even notice, which is good actually if they don't notice it. So we have our Grails API, and then we have another set of APIs we use for all ENS data, profile data, EFP data that we originally created for the EFP app, and we were using those APIs for Grails as well. And over the last couple of years, tools for this type of thing have evolved a lot. More things are available. We've gotten smarter. We've learned and things like this. And so, like a couple of weeks ago, one of our devs completely rebuilt the API backend and database system for ENS data, primary names, profile data, EFP data. And it was like way better, way more efficient, way faster, more accurate, everything about that. And the last like 2 weeks or so, we've been testing that to, squashing bugs in that. And just today, we switched over the API to that. So all that data should be way faster, way better, way more accurate. What I mean by that is like this. It's not the images up here that's coming from somewhere else, but it's like these things here. It's like boom. It's like that profile loaded like immediately. Like that you might say, Brantly, of course it should do that. It should always do that. Yes, it should. And if you don't even think about this again, that means we succeeded. But that's a lot of work to, and like the average user is just like, oh, the app works. Great. But it was like a huge amount of work to completely rebuild the infrastructure to make that work way better than it was. So we just did that today, switched that over.
Nice. I like this category also.
Oh, the BIP? Yeah, it's great.
It's got some good names in it.
Categories that are definitive are really strong categories.
Guys, I got to get going. This has been great.
Yeah, it's been a good night. We appreciate you coming.
I think people need to use the Grails.App because I think having these PO apps could be potentially of a benefit later when there is a paid version of the app.
I don't know. No promises on anything. I haven't thought about it. Maybe, could be. Need to think about that.
So I was thinking about this earlier. I know you're trying to get off, but if you do a paid, if it's like paid, or if you have like an NFT, something like that, if you have an NFT, it gives you the access to these premium features.
Yeah, we've thought about it. I mean, look, we have no decisions on this, and our current thinking was we could do something fancy with NFTs where it's like we release 20 a month and we auction them off, and then people can trade them, and there's a secondary market, but you have to own the NFT to be able to get access to the features. But we could do that, right? Another part of us, and that'd be cool and very Web3. The other side of the argument would be it's way too complicated. We should just do a boring business of just like, here's a subscription price. You can, you pay in crypto, but here's a subscription price. It's open to anyone. There's no trading or secondary speculation on it. It's just, you pay for it, you get, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It might just be simpler.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it's some things that seem simple, like you just said, this uploading of the ENS info. It may seem simple, but the back end of it. So yeah, no, but we appreciate you coming, man. I've actually learned a lot tonight. I've got a lot of good info, and I'm sure anybody watching has also.
Great. Okay. Well, guys, I really appreciate you. Thank you for hosting me. I appreciate it very much. And Bama, thank you. Gary, thank you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night.
All right, see you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Brantly. Talk to you soon.
See you.
Yep.
See you, Gary.
See ya. Oh man, those guys are crazy. They're so crazy. Brantly's building cool stuff. The whole team doing cool stuff. Grails.App. It's amazing how many founders there are that are just genius founders and genius tech folk. But they really don't think about the marketing. They don't think about the full user experience. A lot of people focus on the product, and not a lot of people focused on the end user. How do we communicate with them? How do we connect with them? I guess the old world, you have a storefront. It's the only thing you had was like storefront. If you know, I mean, you could be in a street corner hustling newspapers or widgets, or you could have like a cart, like a mobile carriage where you're selling what you're selling. And then you're just, traveling. It's hard, no way for people to really catch up with you, but maybe one day you upgrade and you get a storefront. Then the internet happened. Well, I guess before the internet, there was a newspaper. And so then some people would advertise in the newspaper, the local newspaper, kind of like the digital town or the printed town square. So you had the physical town square, and you have a printed town square with the printing technology. You had a printing town square, right? So you had a physical town square, you had physical bars, physical hangout places, physical parks, and then you had with the printing press. Yeah. You had zines. People are printing magazines. Magazine business still is huge. A lot of people make money, magazine sales and selling things through magazines, selling things through the newspaper. But then, obviously there's other forms of tech, and you have the internet, and, obviously the internet, you have Craigslist. But the internet, you also had domain names. So I guess it's interesting. You have like general town squares where you can put up a notice and talk to people and, try to solicit, or you can have a physical storefront. And then with the printing press, you had, like a shared, town square, which was like the newspaper. Or you can make your own magazine. You can make your own micro magazine called a zine. And the internet, you had the shared, town square, which was like Craigslist at the time. But you can also get your own storefront on the internet. And your own storefront was a domain name. Not a lot of people wanted a domain name, and then it's like the user experience back then was really, really hard, and it's $50 a year, and it's kind of like a lot of money. What are you gonna do? You make a website. It's basically a business card. Some people had a blog. Other websites made it free to have, you had like blanking, like LiveJournal. What else? LiveJournal was the other one. It was really popular. It's escaping me. It's a really popular place to make blogs. LiveJournal. I mean, before LiveJournal, before Tumblr, what was it? I forget. Even emails, you can emails, you can get like custom email, like at this or at that, or you can get at your own domain name. Not a lot of people thought about that in the very beginning. And then obviously more and more people, got on board, and now it's, a lot more common to have a domain name. It's not necessary. It's never been necessary to have a storefront, because you could just go to the town square. It's never been necessary to have your own magazine, because you can just get your, do one way or another, you can get your information in the paper, either paid or editorially. Same thing with the digital landscape. You don't have to buy a domain name. You could just, get a free account at a free website, make a free blog, get a free email. Or you can pay to get your own storefront, You can pay to get your own, content and communication out there. You can pay to get your own domain name. And then you have your own, something you own, where people can find you, where you can connect with people. So it's interesting to think about it in the world of Web3 and AI. I can imagine how it's just going to continue onward, right? Of course, people can get their own ENS name, but there's probably going to be significantly more people that get ENS subdomains, because someone will make a service and they're not going to, need to have their own .eth, because they're just going to have their own favorite, their name.something.eth. It's kind of like, super identifying with Facebook, and sure, people can upgrade and people can change, but $5 a year, is that what it is for an ENS name? I mean, people are going to be able to get ENS names for free. So if you get a free, most people, like, what are most people going to do? Most people are going to get a free ENS name, or an ENS name that costs $1 a year, or they're going to pay $5 a year if it's like a cool sub name. I think most will be free.